I'm alive. Could've been dead, but 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 I'm alive.
Football numbers in the cage foe, moving weight by the caseload. Curbside, brains blown, so I gotta thank God for a safe soul. Cause that could've been me. The deadline, still breathing, wishing I could turn back time. Going crazy looking for a same mind, wishing I could stop the bullet coming out that 9. Football numbers in the cage foe, moving weight by the caseload. Curbside, brains blown, so I gotta thank God for a safe soul. Cause that could've been me. Flatline, still breathing, wishing I could turn back time. Could've been me. Flatline, still breathing, wishing I could turn back time. Could've been me. Flatline, still breathing, wishing I could turn back time. Going crazy looking for a same mind, wishing I could stop the bullet coming out that 9. No pop in the house, so the block raised me instead. Sooner or later became a zombie, but God got me, raising me from the dead. No pop in the house, so the block raised me instead. Sooner or later became a zombie, but God got me, raising me from the dead. No pop in the house, so the block raised me instead. Sooner or later became a zombie, but God got me, raising me from the dead. Now my eyelids open, he breathe, hoping, sight this lifeless corpse in. Now they can't keep him silent. Go hard as long as I live. No fear, lions or tigers. Bears on my, bear in my cross and walk with that iron. Walk a thin line, opposition is firing. Only time in my life that I seen that's inspiring. Heart of the redeemed, writing lines to invite him in. Would've been still dead in my sin if not for life in him. From a rebel with no cause to an offering, giving truth, living proof that death lost its sting.
Could've been dead, but I'm alive. 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 Could've been.
Football numbers in the cage foe, moving weight by the caseload. Curbside, brains blown, so I gotta thank God for a safe soul. Cause that could've been me. Flatline, still breathing, wishing I could turn back time. Going crazy looking for a same mind, wishing I could stop the bullet coming out that 9.
Yeah, but I'm alive. Could've been dead, 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 but I'm alive.
Money come, money goes. Everybody knows life could end at any time. But dudes are tripping. Only concerns about the grind and get mine. Cops in the back, driving the car with the drugs in the back. Thugs in the front, thugs in the back. Matter of fact, they even got gas in the back. Whoa, that could have been me in the same position as a lot of hood veterans. Honorable discharge from the freedom of the streets to the prison yards. Overseen by the prison guards. Or up in the pine box, walking down the street, dude full of heat, cause I'm on the roadblock, so we thought he'd give me 3 shots. Seen it before, even had tragedy knock on my door. Open it, then I slam back that door. All he did was ram back my door. Had to face facts, close friends and relatives actually died. Donna Summers, I would survive, cause the protection that my help provide. Also had a mother that prayed, kept me in church for much of my day. That life would feel like a raincoat and rain. Could've been dope in the WA. Ayy. Living for God, I'm not gonna stop. Cause I'm above ground while others are not.
Could've been dead, but I'm alive. Could've been.
This is the day the Lord has made and He got me up. I don't care what they may say, I lift Him up. They may think that I'm cray-cray, I'm like, so what? And since I can't change their mind, I'm just go. This is the day the Lord has made and He got me up. This is the day the Lord has made and He got me up. This is the day the Lord has made and He got me up. I don't care what they may say, I lift Him up. They may think that I'm cray-cray, I'm like, so what? And since I can't change their mind, I'm just gone. Give them something to talk about. 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 Give them something something to talk about. Give him something to talk about. Give him something to talk about.
You can send around and be hateful. While I got the joy of the Lord, I'm just grateful. For the people to make it, see that they so. Not giving the praise is what I won't do. Ooh, I'ma scream with the praise. Make a joyful noise and even scream with the praise. When the lazy boy even lean with the praise. Going to sleep and even dream with the praise. Not worried about what you gon' say. I'ma go real hard in the paint. Why most of them ain't. I'm not gonna be caught in the money that's stay in this spiritual state. I'm not gonna be fake, cause I gotta praise the most high. I can't live without him, I try. I just wanna please him, no lie. Which is why I surrender my life. Even if you think I'm going overboard. Miracles happening, you still be floored. I'll be walking to the Lord, cause I love him to the core. Lighting to the Lord like a hoverboard. Joyful noise like the team scored. Dancing like I need a psych ward. I'm a human billboard. Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Lord.
This is the day the Lord has made and he got me up. I don't care what they may say, I lift him up. They may think that I'm cray-cray, I'm like, so what? And since I can't change their mind, I'm just gone. Give them something to talk about. Give them something to talk about. Give them something to talk about. Give them something to give them something to talk about. Give them something to talk about. Give them something to talk about. Give them something to talk about.
What you want me to talk about? Got a million moves, finna walk them out. Got a million views, just lost the count. Never store your treasures in a bank account. I'm rich and God, so I'ma make it out. Let them keep talking, they just run their mouth. I was born again, don't need the cloud. When they throwing shit, I'm like, peace out. Knocking out devils like dominoes. Talk about God, then they gotta go. Give them the praise, I'm like Vominos. God made me, I'm phenomenal. Fake rappers be stealing the flows, and these rappers be doing the most. So my God be giving the hope. I'm chasing my goals, y'all chasing the mole. I ain't really down with the beef, I'm a vegan. I'm about the light, so I shine like a beacon. Brought up in the church, but I never knew a deacon. I was just sleeping, how they gon' believe it? Try to play the game and they call me Triple H. Getting triple doubles every time they give me space. My only worry is keeping the faith. I shoot it like Murray, don't get in my way.
This is the day the Lord has made and he got me up. I don't care what they may say, I lift him up. They may think that I'm cray-cray, I'm like, so what? And since I can't change their mind, I'm just gone. Give them something to talk about. 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 Give them something to give them something to give them something to talk about. Give them something. Give them something. Give them something. Give them something to give them something to talk about. Give them something.
Yo, so welcome to the actual artist to artist interview, and I'm hanging out with my man Dedge P, and welcome everybody to the show. Got this little sound right here. You know you gotta get cheesy sometime with the sound effects, Dedge. So what's up, bro, man? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man.
Blessed, that's what's up. Good, man, good. How was your day today?
Day was great, man.
It was
Every
great.
day above ground is a blessed day, so I'm happy.
Definitely, my brother, definitely. So welcome to the show, man. This is a show where we really just get a chance to vibe and talk. Dedge and I knew each other or acquainted with each other since '06. Dedge had put together a mixtape back then when I had released the album, and he was like collecting artists, and I sent one song in, I think Bring the Heat, and he supported, man. He threw it on the mixtape, and he was spreading it worldwide, everywhere, wherever he was putting it online, and man, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
It was a long time ago, bro.
Yeah.
You brought it full circle, bro. You got the new music popping. He got more songs than I can keep up. I'm gonna tell you that much. Dedge be working.
Yeah.
So how's everything, man?
Man, everything is good, man. Everything is good. I cannot complain, man.
That's good, man. So let people know about your ministry, man. This is some of the folks on here that's going to view it, probably hasn't come across you yet because you know how internet is, man. It just spills over. We got this broadcasting now on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. So you got an opportunity to catch some new supporters, you know. So let them know about your ministry, man.
Well, I'll start from the beginning. You know, we was talking about the mixtape. Let me tell you how it all started. I was just I was on fire for the Lord. You know how when you just get saved and you just want to tell everybody, you know, that's really what was going on in that time. And I used to rap before secular.
Okay.
So when I got saved, I tossed everything in the trash, all my equipment, everything, and said rap was of the devil.
You said you did that too, huh?
Yeah.
He's tossing all the albums, throwing them away.
Literally, you know, he had those big cases of CDs.
Yeah, man.
I tossed everything,
That's right.
mics, mixers. I threw everything away.
It was a
rap
statement,
radio.
bro. That's that. Look, I did the same thing, bro. I had
Okay,
just bought some albums, man. I was tossing them away at Christmas time, bro. CDs.
exactly. Yep. And so when I had came to, maybe it's about a year or so after I got saved. I was in a Christian bookstore because I was always in a Christian bookstore getting
Yeah, getting the
getting those
arsenal.
books and stuff. And I remember I slid by the Christian rap section.
Hmm.
I was like, oh man, this is a devil, man. And then I see one CD that caught my eye.
Hmm.
It was Cross Movement
Uh-oh.
Holy Culture.
Okay, Holy Culture was at that time. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, man, this devil music, I'm gonna give it one shot. So,
Let me see if this can actually feed me spiritually.
yeah. So I grabbed it and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Hmm.
This is not bad. Oh, all right.
Yeah, man,
It
it's
was
the
it
real
was an
deal.
interlude on there. I forget what it's called, but it was an interlude saying speaking to artists that used to do secular music. Like you got the flavor, you got the skills. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you do it for the Lord? And I was like, dang, you know what?
yeah.
And I felt convicted. I was like, all right, cool. You know what?
Hmm.
And from that point, I started being open to Christian music and just me doing it myself.
Yeah,
So I grabbed a whole bunch of people and listened to a lot of people like you on MySpace back in the day.
yeah. MySpace was popping.
And yeah, and I was able to listen like, hey man, there's some good music out there. Just people don't know. People like me who either think it's the devil or think it's just whack or
Yeah,
corny or whatever.
yeah,
So I was like, I just feel like I can slide these CDs to people like literally.
yeah.
I was,
Tracks,
yeah.
musical tracks,
Exactly.
tracks.
It's
Hmm.
true. Literally it'd be somebody bumping 50 Cent beside me. And
Hmm.
I'd be like, hey, you like that? They're like, we in the car at the
Yeah,
stop. I'm like, hey, you know what? Check this out. And I slide in the CD and then put it in right away. So I was like, man, this is
yeah,
amazing. So it helped me uh, uh, evangelize to people and then promote the people that really needed to be promoted. That was really glorified in God and their music and was hot.
yeah.
So and from then I released 2 mixtapes and just from there getting my albums together. But that's really the start of it. Just
Okay.
yeah.
Now that's dope because of the fact that you explained you had a love for hip hop, but
Yeah.
once you met the Lord and understood, man, He came to save me, so I'm gonna give this up, and you thought you were done with it until, like you said, you stumble across something. And the funniest thing is, there's so many Christian rappers. It depends on which angle you look at. Um, some people at one point when I started, I thought I was the only one in the world because I
Yeah.
was like, no one else is doing this. I haven't come across nobody. As soon as you open yourself up to search, you was
Mhm.
like, oh my God, all these people are out here doing this.
So true.
So it's something that was just a calling on our lives, but we just didn't have any clue. Didn't
Yeah.
have any clue. So
True.
how is the history? Because sometimes we can go back as artists to remember when we were younger. When was that starting to be evident that you will have a future in music? Like when now that you're older, you can think
Yeah.
back and see it, but you
Mhm.
couldn't understand it at that point. When you think back when you were growing up, what was that connection?
You know, thinking about it, I was like hip hop in general. I gotta say, it goes back to the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my auntie had a tape, a VHS tape, and it was Crush Groove.
Crush Groove. There you go.
And
It's about what, 84, 85?
I don't, I
85.
don't,
I think Crush Groove was 85.
yeah, that's when it really, I really wanted to be a part of it. Didn't know how.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I used to dance. I used to think that was my lane,
Yeah.
but that was the start of it. That, like just I was intrigued. I used to play that DVD. I mean, excuse me, VHS
Yeah.
over and over and over. Let it rewind all the way to the end and play it over and over till I knew all the songs and everything. But that was the start. And but when it really got to the point where I felt like I wanted to do it,
Yeah.
it's a funny thing. Uh, my uh, my my brother used to rap.
Okay.
So I used to want to be like him as well. But my friends, we used to go to a lunch line and uh, we used to write raps about each other's team. So I'm a Spurs fan, and
Okay.
they was all Laker fans because we from LA.
So y'all NBA rap writing.
That was really the original. So
Okay.
it started from me being inspired by my brother,
Yeah.
but we would talk about each other during lunch and nutrition. So from that point, it was on, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then I would go. My brother had a karaoke machine that you can record, and I would go in his room when he was gone because he didn't want me in his room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would get instrumentals and I would rap over those instrumentals, and it really started. That was probably like the 10th, 11th grade. So that's when I really knew that I wanted to do it.
Wow.
And me and my homeboy Troy used to get together, and you know, you got the stereo playing on this side.
That's
you
right.
have another one play on this side. You record and you rap into it.
Yep.
You got to get it all right the first time. If you
Make it do what it do, bro. Make it do what it do.
Yeah, that it really started around 10th, 11th grade is when I really started getting serious with it.
That's dope. You know, it sounded like you and I was around the same period. I think in 11th grade, summertime, my friend asked me over his house, and we rhymed over one of the producer beats because he was making beats. And it was so funny, man. When you think back, you're like, I don't have no recordings of any of that stuff, but you knew it was your start. You know, you knew it was your start. So you did the mixtapes. How did you get from mixtape time to now? What was the transition throughout those years and your growth and how God evolved you and developed you to get to this point? Because mixtape Dedge was, you know, dibbling and dabbling, getting started and figuring things out. Dedge P now is, you know what I'm saying, is a whole different artist, you know, in growth and spirituality. And how'd you get there?
I can tell you what really got me to where I am is pain.
Wow.
If you listen to my
You're
music,
getting real.
if you listen to my music, I'm pretty transparent with a lot of the things I've been through in life.
Yeah, man.
And you know, just going through. Originally, it was fun. You know, you just doing stuff and you glorifying God.
Yeah.
But as the years went on, you just had a lot on your heart. And normally I would just write poetry and everything, regardless. But it became songs. And
Gotcha.
the songs got deeper and deeper and deeper. So from where I am today, it's a big jump from where I started.
Yeah.
A huge jump. And you can just, you know, literally on my last album, I had a couple songs I literally cried during the recording of them.
That's
because
real.
it was just like, you know, it was
Transparent.
real. You know, the album was called Share My Heart. So I was really sharing my heart through that project.
Yeah.
And you know, it just that's pretty much how pain, man. Pain.
And it's amazing, you know, when you think about it, that God allowed you to go through it so you can talk about it.
Exactly.
That formula doesn't change.
Yep.
Like if you're really looking at an MC and an MC that can share their heart, they're sharing it from real experiences.
Yeah.
It's not like, yo, my man went through this, you know, my sis went through this. No, you know, if I'm going to really convey it, I had to live it. I had to breathe it. I had to eat it. I had to sleep it. And then God had to free me up from it. You know what I mean? So run down your list, man. What is these lists of albums? Because people chime in. They say, all right, so he say he got this new single out that we just played. He started with mixtapes. He got an album, and it was an album in 16. Like, what is your discography?
Okay, I got let me see.
That's how much he been grinding, y'all. He got to now think about.
It's I got 2 albums and an EP and an album coming up.
Okay.
Just make sure that's right. Yeah. and a bunch of singles. And so yeah, it's just I just been really. I feel like the reason why I've been grinding. I know you've been saying I've been grinding,
bro.
is because
It's real.
I spent time. I spent a lot of time away from music, so I would have like gaps.
Speak on that, because a lot of times artists feel like they got to stay in the studio.
Well, from that point, like I said, I mean, I was going through life.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you just going through it. I just didn't feel like I was in a position to minister to somebody.
Gotcha.
So I didn't want to be the one that shouldn't be there, but there because, he trying to keep his name out or something. I just really want to glorify God through my music. So I needed that time. And from that time, when I, from the first album, I had a break, about 4-year break or so.
Okay.
And then the next EP and the next album was like a year apart. But from there to here, it was like 4 years, 3 or 4 years again. So I always had a lot on my heart. So I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna crank out this music and put it out there because God gave me the gift. And no reason for me to sit on my talent.
That's right.
People are being blessed. Like, I mean, it's a blessing. One of the things I love is, Lord, allow me to see somebody blessed by it.
Amen.
And even to the day, some people hit me up out of the blue and say, "Hey, Dad, I don't even know who they are." And I love your mixtapes back in the day. I'm like, dang, bro, that's God, man. Like, still to the day,
That's right.
So like, those type of messages and people being blessed by the music it helps me keep going,
Amen. And I'm gonna tell you something. The Lord dropped on me the revelation a couple years back about the stuff that we drop now is going to live forever. Just like how many people be tripping over the Beatles. They hear the Beatles help. They be like, man, that's what I heard the Beatles, or this one or that one. Like a lot of times, I don't know if us Christian MCs or Christian artists think about it, that the music God gives you will last past your lifetime.
It's true.
And it's going to help somebody when you really yield and write those kind of songs that help people. You know what I mean? Because, we're definitely not getting any younger, but at the same time, we should be getting wiser and even craftier, So I want to talk about your sound, man, because you do not have an old school sound at all. Your sound, because that's the slight they give me. It's oh man, it sound like boom bap. Dedge got the joints, you got the doom doom doom. So the joint be rocking.
Oh
and, So who you been working with as far as producers or different people that you find these tracks and you start working with them and getting creative and you got singers on it like. I'm gonna have to have you A&R my next project, man. You got some stuff cooking.
Yeah, man. I just try to go with what feels good, man. I've got a few producers I work with. I used to produce myself. I haven't produced myself in a minute, so
it's hard doing everything, bro. I know what you mean.
Yeah. It got to the point where I just needed some help.
Yeah. It was a good move, man, because it's giving you the opportunity to get rocking quicker.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I forget where I was.
So you were just pointing out different producers you've been working with.
Yeah. I was just working with and the names escape me right now.
That's no problem, man. They're going to get you.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to watch this interview.
I know.
Like, yo, Dedge.
Man, this is a shame. I can't even remember.
That's no problem, man.
Of them, though, but I just try to go with what feels good.
Yeah.
I still rock some of the older stuff here and there, depending on like what I feel.
Yeah.
But I just always try to go with the feeling, how I feel with the track, just let God use me on it.
Yeah. Now let people know where you're from, because this interview is at 10 p.m. because I'm in the East Coast. And Dedge is not in the East Coast. So where you reside, bro?
Yeah, I'm from South Central Los Angeles. So that whole Crenshaw district, that's where I'm from.
Amen.
You hear on TV all the time. That's exactly where I'm from. I actually went to Crenshaw High.
Wow. So you in those classic movies with everybody who watch Minister Society, Boys in the Hood,
absolutely,
Compton, all those famous locations. And it's so crazy, man, that time has shifted when Hollywood gets involved with areas you grew up in. You're
Yeah.
like I ain't seen no Hollywood cameras back then.
It's
But
true. It's true.
it's the new day and the new age.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So
can I ask you a question, man?
go for it.
So I mean, I was bumping your mixtape the last couple of days, man.
Hey man.
What was your inspiration for your mixtape?
I just knew that I always wanted to start a mixtape, and a few of those songs, if I be honest, the first, well, I guess track 2, 3, 4, and 5, I had since '09. So that was just playing with the idea of using some of the Christian producers who produce beat tapes.
Yeah, okay.
So some of those tape songs you might remember, Teddy P or Dirt. Dirt had a beat tape back in there, so 2 of those are Dirt beats and 2 are Teddy P's. But once it got back to this time period, I said, I just finished the Sign of the Times album. That's a real heavy, serious album.
Yeah.
I said, I just want to rhyme. I just
Okay.
want to rhyme, and after a while, the idea started dropping in my head, like rhyme over beats that really got high energy.
Yeah.
And that's all. It just started spiraling it from there and saying, do a remix on this one, do a remix on that one, write fresh verses on this one. So I can't really take the credit. I just felt led to do it and just piece it together and put it out there for people to, have some more music to listen to,
Yeah. So that in that Doom joint though,
the
you,
Doom
you
joint.
went off. You went off on that one.
And it's so funny because I didn't really try to go back and listen to whenever I rhymed over someone else's beats, how they did it.
Yeah.
I just tried to go from what I could do in the studio. So, yeah, man, it's a blessing. But like you're saying the same thing, man, God wants to use us. And again, it's for multiple reasons. Sometimes it's to encourage you that, yes, you are called to do this. And another time, it could be that he's going to encourage someone else.
Yeah.
Because that's a big responsibility that we have that sometimes artists keep trying to shy away from. I'm not a role model.
Yeah.
Well, you got a whole bunch of people following you and a whole bunch of people, duplicating what you do.
It's true. It's true.
You don't want to be a role model, but you are a role model.
Facts.
True. So when you think about that, and this is interesting to say because if you're coming out of South Central, and the sound of what Christian hip hop is and the genres as a whole, we got a mixed bag of sound going on all at the same time.
It's true.
And if you look at radio programming, it only really caters to certain sounds at certain times, or it's segmented demographic or location. Like sometimes it's really hard to just put your footing on. And that's why I understand what you're saying. You just going for what sounds good to me. You look, I can't please this group and I can't please that group. How would you advise a young artist if they had a chance to hang out with Dedge P for a month and they're trying to get ready to get started to work on their Christian hip hop ministry? And what words of advice would you give a young artist?
I definitely would say keep God first. That's number one. It's so easy to get caught up in numbers and what somebody else is doing and how they doing it. Because I tell you, people are going to talk about you, and it might not be nice.
It may not.
You can have the best song and they won't like it, and they'll let you know they don't like it. So doing it for the real reason is pleasing God and blessing other people through it. Yeah. Keep that first and be consistent. Like my daughter is rhyming now and she got a song out. We got a song coming out together in the next month or so.
Congrats.
She's 14 years old. Appreciate it. Yeah, she's 14 years old and I'm trying, that's a perfect question because I'm trying to teach her how to just be consistent, do what God called you to do and not worry about everybody else.
True.
She's like immensely concerned about haters, what somebody said about it, about her
Yeah.
song. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
you're not going to please everybody,
no. And
and
critique is
everyone won't
okay.
like it.
Yeah, a
Critique is
critique.
okay, and the dangerous thing about critique, and the only reason I can say this because we're older.
Yeah, yeah.
You hear someone critique your stuff, but you knew you got the instruction from God.
Yep.
So now you gotta look at that critique sideways to
It's
say,
true. It's true.
yo, God told me to do that, so it didn't please people. Ah, it sounds like what Jesus did. You know
Yep.
what I
It's
mean?
true.
Because
It's true.
he would come across with a message, and they're happy about, him feeding the 5,000. He's doing this, he's multiplying that. But then he started challenging them. They're like, wait a second,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yep.
And that's a real thing. And that's something that's important. And think about the difficulty these younger artists have with social media.
Oh yeah.
Like when we dropped mixtapes or albums back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, we didn't have a whole um, people's input about what they think about everything. I
True.
didn't like those drums. I didn't like that
True.
bass line.
It's
The
true.
art of critiquing has gone to an all-time high because everyone believes we can do the same thing. And it's part of technology. We record in
Mm-hmm.
our homes, so we don't
Yeah.
go to the big giant studios looking like a computer room,
Yeah.
so it makes people feel like anyone can do it. But at the same time, like you said, if you put in God first and you're getting your information from God, you got to be confident in that and keep working it, you know. Let him grow the audience,
Yeah.
let him
Absolutely.
minister to people. It's so important. So important. So this is cool, man.
Yeah. True. True.
So the latest single, what's the latest single that you dropped? This joint is something to talk about. Who's Trutha? That's the
Truth was
person that's featured on there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He cool dude. Uh I had heard some of his music and I just thought it would be cool to hook up with him on something.
That's
And
dope.
he was like, "Yeah, you were down," and this song is just really the song. You know, you know how it is when, like I was talking about, being on fire for God. You on fire for God, and
Yeah.
everybody else got everything to say. Now you don't have to pray so much. You don't have to dance so hard. You don't have to shout like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm not gonna stop. In fact, I'm gonna give you something to talk about. I'm gonna do it even harder. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
that song is really about. Because it's been rapping on my end.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
Yeah.
But the joint got a nice bounce to it. It got nice energy. I'm sure you starting to get um, some major plays now with the sound fitting into most programming. And that's a good thing. Like I was saying, you was picking some good energy things. How do you
Yeah.
feel that has gone? Like I don't know to what extent, because let's be honest. To be an artist nowadays, it's hard to try to get your music out. You can create it and finish
Oh
it
yeah.
and get it online, but when you're
Yeah.
talking about getting it to all the DJs, getting it to all the radio programs, and sending out
Yeah.
your emails, and everyone's website has different requirements. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've been through that yet. And you
Oh
type
yeah.
and you're like, well, what's this one saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Submission, colon. You're like, yo, what is
Yeah.
all this? How,
It's
how
true.
has that been for you? Because, like we're saying, we have the fun part is the recording, the mixing, the
Yeah.
mastering. With COVID, it didn't allow us to do much performing last year, so it's
True.
not too much of the ministering live.
Yeah.
So then you try to feed it to the radio stations to make sure people knows. How's that going for you with trying to manage that type of stuff?
I mean, for me, being you it's a difficult thing. I do send out and submit and do everything I can to get the music out, but
Yeah,
it's not like it's not as easy as it may seem. So
I
you
understand.
know, yeah. So as a whole, you can send them out and you can do what you do, and that's all you can do. So
Yeah,
I don't really, I don't really trip about it as much because I know that God's gonna have whoever needs to hear that song is gonna hear that song.
amen.
Whether it's today and like you said, it lives forever. So whenever it catch on to people, it's gonna catch on, and I'm
That's
okay
true.
with that.
And that's a good thing, man. I've been saying on the last 3 interviews the same little cycle of an example. Going on Netflix, finding a season show that came out in 2017.
Yeah.
You watch it, it's like the best thing you ever seen, and you wish they probably canceled it, but you wish
Yeah.
they continued it,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, wow, that was wonderful. I believe that our music can be found like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Our music can be found like that. And a lot of times, I don't think supporters understand how much they could help a lot of Christian artists by sharing their music. And unfortunately, some do. So that's, thumbs up to you guys that do it.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people who don't do it, it kind of slows the momentum down. And a lot of times, and we can talk about this, Dedge, because you touched on the term, the topic of pain. There is pain as artists. They used to give the term starving artists, and whether they were starving to eat or starving to feel like they are fulfilling what they've been called to do.
Yeah.
That sometimes is a battle that will either encourage an artist to continue or to quit. And I've known so many artists who quit it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what brought me back, is that I knew a lot of people quitting on their gifts. And I'm like, yo, we all can't stop. Like, somebody got to be able to generate the music, and even to the responsibility of music with content. Like, everyone don't give out the same content. So we kind of need everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, with the understanding of, the artists, how much they got to fight to stay in the game? People think it's easy. You just rhyme. You just wrote 16. You wrote a chorus. You got your man singing. Dun, dun, dun. You're like, no, dog. It took a little bit more than just that. So how do you do that?
It goes back to what are you doing for? I know quite a bit that quit just in the middle of the ministry. I know quite a bit that flipped and now they're secular. And you have to keep your focus on God. If you don't, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
I remember in 2000, I think it was 2014. I was ready to retire. I was like, I only had an album out. I had a couple mixtapes. I was like, I'm done. And I was able to speak to one of my homies, Keno the Half Breed, my other brother, Conscious.
Okay.
They both encouraged me to say, hey, bro, God needs you. You supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing. And from that point, I prayed about it, and I really knew that I wasn't supposed to quit. I was tired, tired, doing the whole thing, recording, producing, marketing, promotion, events, driving
one man band.
yeah, going to the back and try to sell your CDs or bless people with your CDs and stuff like that. I did everything on my own, so I was just tired.
Yeah,
but just staying focused on the Lord and what He called me to do is what really keeps me moving. And most of the people I know, like Survivor Q, he's another one. We just keep going. Cashmere Quest, Twice Born, those are my bros. We just keep going, man, because God has called us to do this, and I just want to do what He called us to do.
That's good stuff, man, because these conversations got to happen more, and artists got to be able to hear it, believers and Christian artists, because that spirit of giving up and throwing in the towel when we don't know what's on the other side of continuing. Like you said, if you would have stopped in 14, you wouldn't have had this slew of material release. And the people that's contacting you saying, Dedge, that song, Dedge, this, and you're like, wow. So following God, it's almost like, Noah's experience. God tells him to build an ark, and he like, man, it hasn't been raining. Build the ark. You know what I'm saying? Abraham, you're going to have a son. My man waits, 25 years, and finally comes to pass. It's a lot of things that really goes on that we got to remind ourselves. This is why we grind. It's because of God. It's because it's kingdom business. and he has something ultimately what he's going to do.
Yeah.
What would you say as far as and this is not a trick question, but it's an honest question.
Okay.
What would you say is your ministry's overall goal to be successful? What would you consider success for your ministry?
Um, my goal, success, is really first off, I want to glorify God through everything. So
Amen.
that's a success in itself. I mean,
Amen.
I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they
Mm-hmm.
was like, Dedge, that's stupid. That's stupid thinking. like, no, like no,
Yeah,
no,
give God
no.
his praise.
Yeah, yeah. But I was
I
like,
hear
I
you.
also want to bless people. I would also want to, when people going through that hard time or good time, I want to be able to pop on my song and just feel blessed by it, and either help them through a hard time or push them through a great time.
Yeah.
So that's a success to me. I can, I take the numbers, I take the plaques.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You said if
If you
they're
gonna give
coming,
me,
they're coming. You know, I'm
yeah,
not
the
going to
Lord don't give
resist.
it to me, I take it. But uh, you know, if my numbers stay where they are, I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with it, bro. Because I really want God to be glorified. I want people to be blessed by it, and I don't want to do what everybody else is doing just to get their numbers. I want to
Gotcha.
do what God called me to do.
Amen. And you can't go wrong with that because you know deep down you are not forcing this thing.
Oh no,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You know, we have those moments where we feel like we're forcing, just like when you was explaining being a one man band trying to do everything.
yeah,
And when you get home, you're so super drained. You poured out everything, the drive time, the setup, the breakdown. Like I understand that, and that's why I
yeah,
thank God for getting us into a different place with wisdom to try
yeah.
to figure out, listen, I can go hard for a certain amount of time to push this, but when God tells you to go sit down and
Mm-hmm.
chill, go sit down and chill.
Yep,
You
it's
know,
true.
find those moments when you can have peace, you know, waking
Mm-hmm.
up before the whole house gets up so you can
Yeah,
talk to God and get some more clarity. That's so important as an artist because we're we're always stressing this term. This is a Christian artist we're defining. We're not talking about just a artist who's trying to sell records. A
yeah,
Christian artist got to get their content from God.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They got to get their content from God. Have you been impressed by God with the songs that He's been giving you, and sit back and say, "You didn't give this to someone else"? Have you been sitting back because your sound, like I said, you got that popping sound. So I know sometimes you sit back and you wondering like,
Uh,
what in, how did,
I don't.
okay.
I kind of expected. Growing up, I was in music. I was such a broad fan. So like I'm from the West Coast, so
Mm-hmm.
I would secularly I would love like Dr. Dre, Snoop, Above the Law, those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite rapper was Nas. But
Wow.
if we go if we go to the East, I mean go to the South,
Yeah.
I was a No Limit fan. So when you mesh all this stuff together, it's like uh it don't fit. So
Yeah.
my music was always different. It was always like, and in fact, I probably lean more towards the southern side. My
Okay.
family's from Mississippi as well, so I'm from LA. My family's from Mississippi, so.
Okay. Okay. You said you won't claim.
But yeah, so having a different sound has always been me
Yeah.
since I first started, and it's always like what I feel, the vibe I feel. So I'm not necessarily I don't feel that way, but I'm grateful for what
Okay.
God has given me. But
Okay.
definitely,
I feel you. I feel you. So the when you touch on, you know, so many different influences and so many different sounds that you used to listen to, you know, when you go to events out there, how is the sound of the other ministries that's around you? Are their sound more West Coast, you feel, or is it
there
everyone's kind of doing
there's some
similar?
West Coast. It's the West is it's kind of weird. Uh, so you
I
got the West
understand
those
because
that do
of
the West
sound.
sound. I said it again.
I said because sound right now with this internet spills over
Oh yeah,
into different territories that it never did before.
yeah. That's that's exactly what's going on. Spill over.
So you
So
can have some dirty South sounds up there, trap sounds in
yeah,
the West Coast, and you're
yeah.
like, that's not West
Well,
Coast.
definitely more so that stuff than the West Coast stuff. So
Okay.
it's a few that stick to that West Coast sound. Me, I
Hmm.
dibble and dabble in everything, but
Yeah.
it's a few that really stick to that West Coast sound. It's not that many.
Okay. Yeah, because West
So
Coast sound
yeah,
is not as popular as it used to be when Dre was producing and
it's true.
Above the Law.
It's
They
true.
were in like this other tier, and everything shifted. Atlanta sound,
Yeah.
Miami sound, New
Hmm.
York sound. Like
Yeah.
everything keeps changing. So we are a melting pot of everything.
It's
You know what I
facts.
mean? You used to be able to listen to a record and understand where someone's from just from their words.
It's true.
Now you can't.
It's
They be
true.
saying every phrase, what's cracking? You're like, where are
Yeah.
you from?
Yeah. It's true. The slang and the lingo is just so
It's blended.
same.
Yeah, yeah, it's blended. So it
Like
makes it real interesting.
yeah,
So with you producing and with you recording and doing music and now you're starting to do it with your daughter,
yeah.
do you feel like now again it's sometimes it creeps in because of our age that you're working the microphone, you're tearing it up, you thinking, and you're like, well, how is this younger generation, because they're a fickle generation, I would
Oh yeah.
say, because
Yeah.
they're really used to now TikTok and you know what I mean, 60-second spans of
True.
time, and that's all you get from me. You know what I mean? It's like, so I gotta bust my best bars in the 60 seconds
Yeah.
to fit in this clip.
Yeah.
How do you balance in with that, with the creativity? And that's an advantage you got with your daughter.
Oh yeah.
That's an advantage because she's able to say, all right, that's too technical. You too nazi right now. You need to
Yeah.
pull back off of that and let's dumb it down and get to the same subject. So how has
It's
that
true.
how's that been?
Uh it's actually it really is a blessing to have her. She's probably my toughest critic.
Okay.
Um her famous quote is it needs some work.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm like, hey, I just did this. Listen,
Yeah, you're like, this is incredible.
uh, it needs some work.
It needs some work.
But on her end, she's she's not the Nas stuff ain't gonna work.
Nah,
She
nah.
like, no, I ain't doing that. What did you mean by that? I'm like, well, this is what a metaphor is called. This is a
Yeah.
metaphor. I'm
Yeah.
trying to let her know.
They
Oh
can
no,
care less.
that's a double entendre right there.
Doesn't have a melody. that's all they want to know. Does it have a melody?
Yeah,
You're
like,
like,
oh no, you need to fix that, pops. Oh, my God. But it's been good. She's been helping me,
that's
stay,
dope.
I guess, with my recent music. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's too long, and I'm like, okay, let me cut it down a little bit, because we can have 5-6 minute songs,
Like,
three verses
that's
and
true.
three hooks, talking in intro, outro,
That's true.
a bridge.
A bridge, a break.
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
be tons of stuff. So how
yeah,
how do you feel, when we look back to growing up off of albums and now generations now don't necessarily listen to a whole album? What do
yeah.
you what do you what do you think about that? Because you know how an album is set up: the
Uh-huh.
intro to get
Yeah,
to the climax, and then the
yeah,
conclusion, and
yeah,
it's a lot of stuff in between. And one person's going to give you one spin for one record. You
yeah.
know,
It's I don't like it because those concept albums really define the artist at the time. Like the way music is saying it's just single here, single there, which is
yeah,
cool. It's cool, but it takes away from the quality of the music. You're so quick to move on to the next thing. Like,
yeah,
no, marinate with this project for a month.
yeah,
You know, they done with one song in a minute. Like,
yeah.
No, you're not experiencing the artwork that's supposed to be experienced.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing as well,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because you might have a listener for your one song. So
Gotcha.
if it's something that's important to you that you
Mm-hmm.
really think somebody need to hear, you put it as a single. You go. They might not listen to your entire project or
Yeah.
5 or 6 songs, but they'll listen to one song.
Yeah.
So it gives you opportunity to get one extra listener by putting your song as a single. So, but
That's true.
ultimately,
Ultimately. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's
yeah,
a lot of work too, because you put a lot in the album, and you know from being the artist that created the content where the golden goose is found in the album. There are
yeah,
certain songs that has gold mines,
yeah,
and people just keep skipping past it,
yeah.
going to their favorite single, and you're like, because I remember when we grew up, when we had cassette tapes, you couldn't really skip like
Yeah.
CD, or now just touch the phone, just skip over a
It's
song,
true.
just
It's true.
tap. You used to
True.
listen, and there was sometimes you'll listen to an album and you would have said to yourself, that's trash, I'm never going to listen to it again. You put it in the next day and you found something there, and then you said, whoa, this ain't
Exactly.
that bad. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
people just got to give music a chance, man. So
It's
what's the
true.
future for Dedge, man? Where you moving as far as the future? You said when you working with your daughter, you're going to be
Yeah.
releasing some music and stuff, you know.
Yeah. I got another album coming out probably in June.
Okay.
Uh,
This guy's working. He said in
uh,
June, you know. It's only
yeah.
what, March 30th.
Yeah. And I got another EP coming out, a little EP with Zay Hill coming
Okay.
out soon as
That's
well.
dope. That's dope.
Uh, and yeah, man, I'm continue to grind, man. Just continue to grind. As long as I can grind
Yeah.
and I feel like the Lord is leading me to,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be putting a phone call in because I'm gonna work on a collaborations album. So all
Show,
these
man.
different people, I'm coming back across and said, you know what, we never did a song together.
It's
So
true.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
piece
man.
some
I
stuff
got something for you
together,
too, man. I got something for
bro.
you.
Look, I'm right here.
For sure.
That's the blessing, man. Let people know where they can find you online if they're searching for Dedge P.
You can find me at all social media platforms, just Dedge P. Twitter at Dedge P, Instagram Dedge P, everywhere. Dedge P. I'm here.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, man, it was an honor and a privilege, man, to finally get a chance to vibe with you and hang out with you, man. I pray everyone enjoyed the interview. Go check out Dedge's music. The latest single is called Something to Talk About. We bumped it at the beginning of this broadcast. And Dedge, don't go nowhere. I'm just sign off with everyone else. We thank y'all for coming through. And thank you for all of those comments. You know, me and Dedge will go back and read through them, too.
Yeah.
But definitely, man.
So,
All right, y'all.